In 1498, Vasco da Gama achieved the unthinkable. He charted a new sea route to India, forever altering history. Da Gama's journey was fraught with peril, yet he persevered, driven by the promise of riches and glory. His arrival in Calicut heralded a new era of global trade. The impact of da Gama's voyage was profound. Europe now had a direct route to the riches of the East. For much of the 16th century, Portugal reigned supreme in the Indian Ocean. Vasco da Gama's discovery gave them a head start. They established fortified trading posts along the African coast and in India. Goa, captured in 1510, became their capital in the east. The Portuguese crown established a trade monopoly. They controlled the flow of goods between Europe and Asia. Spices, particularly pepper and cloves, were highly sought after in Europe. However, their monopoly attracted rivals. The Dutch and the English began to challenge Portuguese dominance. By the early 17th century, the Portuguese grip was weakening. Their overstretched empire was vulnerable to attack. The stage was set for the rise of a new power in the East, the British East India Company. The success of Vasco da Gama's voyage had a ripple effect across Europe. It sparked a wave of exploration and ignited ambition, particularly in England. English merchants, envious of Portuguese wealth, yearned for a piece of the lucrative Eastern trade. However, the Portuguese monopoly stood as a formidable obstacle. In 1588, a group of influential London merchants petitioned Queen Elizabeth I for a charter to establish a trading company for the East Indies. They argued that England too deserved a share of the spice trade. They envisioned a company that would rival the Portuguese, bringing wealth and prestige to England. Queen Elizabeth granted their request, and the East India Company was born. This marked a turning point in history. The newly formed company, with its powerful charter and ambitious goals, would eventually eclipse the Portuguese, ushering in a new era of British dominance in India. The East India Company's charter granted them a monopoly on English trade with the East Indies. It also gave them the power to raise armies, build forts, and negotiate treaties with foreign rulers. This effectively made them a state within a state, answerable only to the English crown. On December 31st, 1600, Queen Elizabeth I granted a royal charter to the East India Company. This document, a testament to England's growing ambition, officially sanctioned the company's pursuit of trade in the East Indies. It was a pivotal moment, marking the beginning of the company's long and tumultuous journey in India. The company's first voyage, led by Captain James Lancaster, set sail in 1601. It was a perilous undertaking, fraught with risks and uncertainties. The ships, laden with silver for trade, navigated treacherous waters, facing the constant threat of storms, pirates, and disease. After a grueling journey, Lancaster's fleet arrived in Aceh, Sumatra in June 1602. This initial voyage established a crucial precedent. The English, unlike the Portuguese, sought to establish themselves through trade, not conquest. Lancaster secured a letter from the Sultan of Aceh, granting the company permission to establish a trading post. This marked the beginning of the company's gradual but steady expansion in the East. The company's early years were marked by both challenges and triumphs. They faced stiff competition from the Dutch and Portuguese, and navigating the complex political landscape of India proved difficult. However, their persistence and shrewd business acumen gradually paid off. Section 5. A foothold in Surat. In 1608, the East India Company established its first trading post in India at Surat. Surat, a bustling port city, was a hub for trade and commerce. The company's arrival marked a significant milestone. Securing permission to trade was no easy feat. Emperor Jahangir, initially hesitant, eventually relented. The English agreed to pay hefty taxes and abide by Mughal laws. The Surat factory became the company's headquarters. From this base, they expanded their trade network. They traded in spices, textiles, indigo, and saltpeter. The Surat factory marked a turning point. It provided a secure base for expansion. It signaled their growing ambition in the Indian Ocean trade. Section 6. Expanding influence. In 1615, Sir Thomas Roe, a skilled diplomat, arrived in the Mughal court. His mission was to secure a royal farman, a decree from the Mughal emperor granting the East India Company trading privileges throughout the Mughal Empire. Rose's success in negotiating favorable terms would prove to be a game-changer for the company. Rose's diplomatic skills and understanding of Mughal courtly etiquette proved invaluable. He skillfully navigated the complexities of the Mughal court, winning over key officials and ultimately securing an audience with Emperor Jahangir. His patience and persistence paid off when, in 1617, Jahangir granted the company a farman. This farman, a major coup for the company, granted them the right to establish factories in key Mughal ports, including Agra, Ahmedabad and Broach. It also exempted them from certain taxes and duties, giving them a significant advantage over their rivals. This marked a crucial step in the company's transformation from a trading venture to a powerful entity in India. The farman's significance went beyond economic gains. It bestowed a sense of legitimacy on the company, recognizing them as a major player in the Mughal Empire. This recognition allowed them to expand their operations with greater confidence, setting the stage for their future dominance. Section 7. The Jewel of the East. In 1639, a pivotal opportunity arose for the East India Company. The local ruler of Chandragiri, desperate for funds to fight a rival, offered to lease a small coastal village to the company. This seemingly insignificant transaction would have profound consequences, for that village was Madras, destined to become the company's most valuable possession. The company, recognizing the strategic importance of Madras, readily agreed to the deal. They fortified the village, constructing Fort St. George, a formidable bastion that would serve as the nucleus of their future presidency. Madras, with its natural harbour and strategic location, quickly flourished as a centre for trade and commerce. The acquisition of Madras was a turning point for the company. It provided them with a secure and independent base of operations on the east coast of India, free from the whims of Mughal rulers. It also positioned them strategically to tap into the lucrative trade of the Bay of Bengal, further expanding their influence. Madras became a magnet for merchants, artisans and workers, drawn by the promise of opportunity and prosperity. The city's cosmopolitan character, a melting pot of cultures and languages, became a hallmark of company rule, shaping the social and cultural fabric of colonial India. Section 8. A trading empire. Over the course of the 17th century, the East India Company underwent a profound transformation. From humble beginnings as a trading venture, they evolved into a formidable force, wielding considerable economic and political power in India. Their journey was marked by shrewd business acumen, ruthless ambition, and a keen understanding of the shifting political landscape. The company's initial focus on trade gradually gave way to territorial ambitions. They exploited rivalries between local rulers, skillfully playing them off against each other. They raised armies, fought battles, and forged alliances, steadily expanding their dominion. Their military prowess, often underestimated, proved decisive in key battles. By the late 18th century, the East India Company had effectively become a sovereign power in India. They controlled vast swathes of territory, collected taxes, administered justice, and maintained their own army and navy. Their transformation from merchants to rulers marked a turning point in Indian history, ushering in an era of company rule. This transformation was not without its critics. The company's ruthless pursuit of profit, their exploitation of local resources, and their growing political influence raised concerns both in India and England. However, their wealth and power made them a formidable force, difficult to challenge or control. Section 9. Legacy of dominance. The legacy of the East India Company in India is complex and multifaceted. They were pioneers of global trade, connecting East and West in unprecedented ways. Their commercial activities brought wealth and prosperity to some, while their political ambitions led to exploitation and subjugation. Their impact on India's economy, society, and politics continues to be debated today. The company's rule paved the way for British colonialism in India. Their administrative structures, legal systems, and military organization laid the groundwork for the British Raj. The English language, introduced by the company, became the language of administration and education, leaving an enduring legacy. However, the company's legacy is also one of exploitation and oppression. Their monopoly on trade stifled local industries, while their policies often benefited British interests at the expense of Indians. Their rule was marked by corruption, greed, and a disregard for Indian customs and traditions. The East India Company's story is a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power. It is a reminder of the complexities of globalization and the enduring impact of historical events on the present. Their legacy continues to shape India's relationship with the world, serving as a reminder of the country's resilience and its ongoing struggle for self-determination.